That's the first I've heard that.
Yeah.
We have been notified.
recorded.
And we
It
either
recorded.
continue or we can leave the meeting because it's being recorded.
That's weird.
That must be an update that they put on.
Can you hear something to get that to go away?
Huh?
In the middle of the screen, it says the meeting is being recorded, and then you have the options to leave meeting or continue. Thank goodness I didn't do this wacky stuff last week.
Yes, I got your email. Is that what you were asking?
No, Dale Doyle.
Oh, Dale Doral.
Hello?
There's Dale.
I did. My question is whether or not I have a signal that's strong enough to do that. But I'd be willing to try it on the 13th.
Okay,
We'll set it up.
all right, and then you're the sixth. Brent.
Oh,
Brent is the sixth now.
Okay.
Since I know the 13th is what he said. The other two.
see, I was thinking of Dale's mother's memorial service in August that they asked to have. Do you want
Yeah.
that zoomed too?
Yeah. I don't know about that. But yeah, I appreciated the response to that though. Oh, we can have that. Who knows what's going to be by then?
Yeah.
But we're wanting to do something. We want to do something. It's been well over a year now.
Sure.
At least, family and whoever else wants to feels free to come.
Well, Lynn's gonna put a save the date in the June newsletter.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's in
So-
there. You haven't seen the newsletter yet, but there is a save the date
And then
box.
you can get us details for the July newsletter and the August newsletter, and we'll,
Okay. Well, maybe I'll have more details by then, but that was the date that we, that family members could be there any later than that and back in school and stuff. So
yeah. So what are you eating, Megan? Did you bring enough for everyone?
No, I did not, because you know what? You're not here. So there you go. And I'm eating scrambled eggs, and to be frank with you, that doesn't meal well. But and a little bit of lox spread. But
That's a little selfish of you, the way just your attitude. Well, too
I know.
bad.
I know, so sad.
I think
It's
you
that
should
Mrs.
read the
Addison.
story of the loaves and the fishes or something.
Yeah.
Fish probably don't mail too well either.
Well, I weren't they all smoked fish?
Well, probably if they were carrying them around all day in the heat over there, they were smoked one way or
Right.
another.
Well, listen, if you have a Zoom or a hybrid memorial service, do you mail people a little part of the collation? A slice of prosciutto and whatever it is.
never participated in that part of the service and done many of them. But,
We always have a little something afterwards for fellowship,
yeah, well, we'll have to think about that part too. We're not there yet. We're just
Yeah.
trying to come back out of a pandemic and figure out whether or not what is possible.
Well, it's nice to have the opportunity for people who couldn't make it.
What
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is one of the good lessons of the pandemic, if there are such good things, that we can do more than we thought of to gather and worship in different styles and on different occasions than we could ever thought before. So,
You know that Jeremiah and Beth and I get on the phone every morning, Monday through Friday, for half an hour. And been doing that for years now.
oh,
So even old school kind of works.
I used to love to stay with Beth and Jeremiah when I was out there. Jeremiah is such a good cook.
He is.
Plus, we had a couple other tastes that we shared, so we would
Well, and they're weighty friends, I'll tell you. There's a lot of good stuff going on there.
we'd stay up late in the night chatting and yeah, good people.
Betty Hitchelman. Can you hear me?
Barely.
Oh, okay.
Get up closer to the microphone.
Betty, I'm wondering if your quilting group needs more fabric?
We take whatever we get and we go through it. And if people want things, they take it. And then if not, we take it to Quaker Haven when we go up there and quilt and let those people go through it.
Okay,
yeah.
I have some fabric and there's a person at Valley Mills that also has fabric. And we were just wondering, maybe when would be a good time to bring it down?
We're there every Wednesday from 9 to 2. And then this coming Monday, once a month, we're there from 6 to 8 at night.
Okay, thank you very much.
Or you could call me and we can arrange a time. Doesn't make any difference.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I think it's time for our prelude. So if you mute yourself just to help minimize the feedback, that would be good. And then we'll do joys and concerns afterwards. Thanks, Lynn. It's one of my favorite pieces of music. Are there joys or concerns that friends would like to share?
I had a joy. I got to go to a concert and hear Drake play his saxophone.
Yay.
And it was wonderful. And the Decatur band, I was just amazed. They're just wonderful. I can't wait till they can get back to doing concerts. I also have a concern. I'm just so upset about that 12-year-old boy that was playing video games at his grandmother's house and somebody shot and killed him. It just a drive-by shooting. Makes no sense.
Well, the joy I have is that, and Megan may want to say more about this, but the Notable Friends series continues tomorrow night. I think Marty Grundy's up talking about Sandra Cronk, which should be a really good presentation. I'll send it.
Yes, we're very excited about it. We were very excited about Brent, but we're all, excited to continue. And I know Marty's done a few things for us over the years, is maybe an understatement. And she's always just very engaging and willing to listen as well as to talk, and
Is
my iPad is early today. I'm so sorry.
now you recorded the last one. Will those recordings be available?
Yes, I have to say that I have not yet spoken to the central IT person about how we're going to put that up. If we're going to put that up on the Wellesley website or if we're going to YouTube it. I mean, I assume that there's no problem with YouTubing it, but I don't think we told people we were recording it. So I don't know if anybody minds, but I think we might just go there. I'm sure there's going to be an earnest discussion about that, but but it definitely will be available, and we'll send you a link or send you a copy of the recording, or both.
Great, because I know some friends missed it and wanted to catch up on it if possible.
Yes, and it was well worth it.
Are there other things to be shared before we go into silence? Well, let's hold these concerns, both joys and things that are on our hearts, in God's light and love as we gather. Chip is the worship leader today, so he will speak when led out of the silence.
Before I get started, I just wanted to share with you that this has not been an easy month for me. And I feel like yesterday I felt I was at a point where I just didn't know where to go. I was ready to throw up my hands and say, I can't deal with all this mess. And then I got calm and everything's working out, and I've got somebody coming to help me do some stuff today. So life is good.
Can you speak up a little, Chip? It was hard to hear.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I've got this turned down. Okay. Can you hear me better?
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, I was just depressed and I just was at wit's end, but now things are better. The calla lilies are in bloom again. Such a strange flower, suitable to any occasion. I carried them on my wedding day, and now I place them here in memory of someone that has died. Can you not hear me, Brent?
We're turning you up a little.
Shall I start over? The calla lilies are in bloom again. Such a strange flower, suitable to any occasion. I carried them on my wedding day, and now I place them here in memory of something that has died. That's a quote from Katharine Hepburn from the film Stage Door from 1937. Now, I ran this by Troy, and I know this is a strange way to start a message. And Troy said, if I tried to do a normal meeting, friends would think that I was taken over by an alien, kind of like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. But I digress. Back to my message. I just found out that symbolically, calla lilies represent innocence, resurrection, and rebirth. I understand they are often used at Easter services, but I have never seen calla lilies at any of the meeting houses I've attended. I will come back to calla lilies later. May is a hard month for me. I remember back when my mother would have big race parties in May with special guests. She knew a lot of race car drivers, family and friends. And then there was Mother's Day. Mother and I would get dressed up and go downtown to one of the hotels for brunch. She was so beautiful, and I was so proud to have her on my arm. When we got home, we would sit on her porch and enjoy looking at all the flowers she got for Mother's Day. Mother loved flowers, and she would get quite an assortment from family and friends. My mother's patio was always festively decorated in May with a race theme. Mother was into decorating for all the holidays, but she outdid herself for the month of May. We would have weekend guests, and our friend Izzy Duesenberg would come and stay with us for the entire month. Of course, that was back when they had 2 days of qualifications and the parade. On race day, people would arrive early at the house for coffee and donuts, and then carpool and head for the racetrack. As Mother got older, things slowed down. We made the best of it. Race parties became smaller. Eating out was done closer to home, but we would still sit on the porch and talk. On her last Mother's Day, Brandon, Keisha, and Drake came over and gave her a pot of calla lilies. Mother had never seen them before and thought they were the most beautiful plants she'd ever seen. I did bring the pot inside that fall, but with Mother's illness and her death at Thanksgiving, I forgot all about it. At Mother's passing, her fun-filled patio and porch had fallen into ruin. For that matter, the whole house needed major work or had to be torn down. Brandon announced that that was Grandma's house. He grew up there, and we were not tearing it down. So remodeling began the following spring. Well, it wasn't till then that I found the pot of calla lilies. I assumed with no light or water over the winter, they were dead. But I put them out on the porch and I gave them water, and it really didn't give much hope. But then suddenly last summer, they started to grow, and before I knew it, calla lilies were in bloom. Funny, it made me feel like I was getting a message from Mother, letting me know all was well. With outside remodeling going on, I felt I needed to do something with the patio and porch area. I took some old fish ponds from my other house next door. I say fish ponds, but they really were the raccoon swimming hole. And my friend Kenny made planters out of them. They are now raised flower beds on the patio, and between them, the three of them are lots of potted plants, roses, and even a tree that live through the winter and are blooming. I also took from my other house some of my shade plants, and I put them in pots and let them winter over on the porch. And they made it and are leafing out and blooming. Mother's patio and porch have become a garden. I only have to step outside and I'm in it. Now, I've talked about my being a collector and have too much stuff. Well, that hasn't changed. Troy is remodeling my old house, and as he does, Mother's house gets fuller with my stuff. My old house was kind of like a flea market with my collections on shelves everywhere. My friend Larry McKee was there one day and said, I found myself shopping. Now, my new house looks like something out of a hoarder show. You can see behind me, this is the good room. But with nice stuff and no pizza boxes and no trash, but with totes and boxes and pictures, I find myself with paths getting from one room to the other. I need at times to step out and find my calm place, my peaceful place. A beautiful garden just makes me feel peaceful. They talk about it in the Bible. And I have my morning coffee on the porch and talk with Mother about my plans for the day. And then in the evening, with a glass of wine, I talk about what I did and didn't get done. Mother's favorite hymn was In the Garden. It was also both of my grandmother's favorite hymns, and they were all played at their funerals. And I feel so at peace when I do go out in the morning when the dew is still on the roses and we talk. It's not only for talking to Mother, but it's a great place for me to medicate and wait for God's voice to speak to me. I have a feeding station across the drive from my garden, and there are all kinds of birds and animals coming to eat and drink. There are lots of bees and butterflies flying from flower to flower, and it seems that everything is peaceful and right with the world, even when it is not. And yes, I took the pot of flowers out of the closet and put them on the porch and watered them again this year. And I'm happy to say the calla lilies are in bloom again. As we go into our quiet time, think about where your peaceful place is and maybe share it with the rest of us.
my peaceful time has changed over the years. When the boys were little and there was all the chaos of raising children, my peaceful time was the lawnmower. I mowed the grass at the time. John does that now. But I would mow the grass, and God and I could have all kinds of talks, and we could solve the world's problems. But that changed. John now mows, and so my peaceful time has become in the morning. I take one of those medicines that you can't eat for so long after you take the medicine. So I'll take my medicine, I'll go get in my recliner, and I'll do my daily devotional and talk to God and play a little bit of solitaire. And that's my morning routine, and that's the quiet time before all the chaos starts.
There's a little lake not too far from where we live, but I have often over the last year gone and sat to watch the sunrise. And there's something calming about water, even when it was frozen over. There was just something calming about that piece of nature somebody has preserved to for the good of the community. Just a place to sit and to meditate, to start the day. I haven't seen the sunrise over there for a few weeks now because the sunrise comes quite early. So.
As we come to the close of this part of meeting for worship and are ready to transition into unprogrammed worship, are there any closing words that friends who need to leave have to share before we do that?
Thank you so much. The music was so lovely and the message I enjoyed so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chip, for having us look into where's our peaceful place. And if we don't have one, find one.
Yeah. And thank you for demonstrating the love between member and among members of a family and looking for that of God in each person.
Well, thank you all for joining us, and for those who can continue, please, we'll just settle into some time of unprogrammed worship, and as led, please feel free to share out of the silence.
Is Lynn still there?
Yes.
Thank you, Lynn. I love the songs.
Should position this differently. It got shifted. There, now you can see Lynn.
Thanks, Lynn.
As I was reflecting on peaceful places, I have a few, like being down in the woods that we have, the different ones. They each have their own character. I like sitting in my recliner in the evening and seeing what critters are going to come by, especially the deer. We have a group that seem to come by either by ones or fives, depending on the day, and stand out there and look in the great window as we stare back. But a new one for me, the past 6 weeks or so, I've been trying to figure out my medications and stuff, has been taking my blood pressure that I have to take a couple times, 3 times a day, and record it and send in to the doc. And one of the nurses was telling me to breathe deeper, and to relax before taking it, instead of going, oh my gosh, it's 10 o'clock, I need to rush downstairs and take my blood pressure and record it, was to walk slowly downstairs, sit in the chair, breathe deep, wait a minute, and then take it. So learning to pay attention to my bodily rhythms and what they're trying to tell me, and to learn to breathe deep again. And it just gives me a chance to center intentionally a few times a day on nothing, to be quiet, to be still, which is hard for me. I don't like to be still. I like to be busy. But I'm learning new rhythms of life as I age, and that's one of them. And I appreciate the advice to, when I do that, to breathe deep, to let things go. And so that's become a new place of quiet for me that I would have never imagined. A new place of listening.
I forgot during Joys and Concerns, I didn't know if you're all aware that Chantel is a grandmother.
Good.
And the baby is so cute.
When I think of a special or quiet place, or when Chip mentioned that, my first thought was of a spot in the house where I sit every morning and have quiet time. But one of the places that has become more and more important to me in terms of being able to hear God is to be outside, but also to be moving. I take a walk every day, twice a day, on our street now that I've retired, and I've discovered that that's the place where I'm doing sort of mindless movement that I really don't have to think about too much, where for some reason my brain can shut up long enough to listen to God. If I have to leave meeting, I often figure out what it is God wants me to say while I'm out walking. If it's time to write something in the newsletter, I often figure out what it is I'm supposed to say while I'm out walking. I've never been a person who found exercise to be all that exciting, so walking is about as athletic as I get, but it does seem to be the place where God speaks to me, or where I can listen best. But I do need to be walking outside. It doesn't work if I go to a gym or something like that. There's something about the combination of nature and somewhat mindless movement that allows me to hear God in ways that I can't do other places and other times.
Well, as we come to the close of our time together, are there thoughts to be shared before we bid adieu? I assume everyone got the email that Chantel wouldn't be joining us anymore because she doesn't have a computer any longer, just her iPhone.
No, I didn't get that.
Yeah. She said she had to sell her computer because of financial issues, so would not be joining us.
Well, that's too bad.
I didn't get that. That's too
Yeah, I
bad.
didn't either.
Huh. Well, that's why she hasn't. I thought she sent it to everyone. I'll have to check, but she said she doesn't, the iPhone isn't good for Zoom for her for some reason. So that's all she has right now is the iPhone. So,
Well, I'm sorry she's going through some tough times. I was like,
yeah.
have to keep her in our prayers.
Well, thanks, Chip, for the message this morning.
Yes.
Yes.
You're most welcome. I talk too fast and do all the things my family tells me not to do when I'm given a message.
You were just fine.
Thank you.
Well, everybody have a good day and a good week, and we will see you next Sunday, hopefully.
Bye. Bye, Nancy. Thanks again, Lynn.
You're welcome.
Yes.